Okay. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. Can everyone see, hopefully, my screen? Yes, Sam's giving me a nod. Okay, great. So this week we are talking a little bit about community, right? And how it's important to have um a connection with the community, especially when you're working towards your health and fitness goals. Um, and I was kind of brainstorming and writing things down for this email this week, and was thinking about kind of what community meant to me, and I was thinking about, well, there are really a lot of different ways to be a part of a community, right? So I think the most obvious one is in-person training, right? Is, a gym with classes. But what I really want to focus on is what community kind of how it makes us feel connected, and obviously, like, we try to really foster that at Hungry Fitness, um, with our cohorts, with our different challenges, with our subscription programming being the main one. If you guys, aren't super active on all of our community kind of groups within the app, scroll on over there and click through things. And it kind of goes beyond even just working out, right? So we share recipes and tips and tricks, and most importantly, like wins and successes and PRs. Um, and at least to me, it's that like sense of community that kind of keeps me focused on track and always wanting to come back for more. All right. So just a little bit kind of the science behind it. Women especially, our brains are wired a little bit differently than men, but women who train with some sort of sense of community are far more likely to stick with it, stay motivated and be like a little bit more focused. And so 5 reasons to try training with your friends, all right? Built-in accountability, right? If you have some friends that you're meeting up with, or virtually are going to be working out at the same time with, or going to, share um different, maybe high points and even low points of a certain workout with, we're more likely to show up for ourselves, um, through kind of showing up through, as well through other people. So if you're in person, right, it's the cheering you on. If it's virtually, like with HF, it's the virtual cheering on. It's the congratulations, right? It's the nice job, Sam, on your PR. And I don't know about you guys, but those are the things that kind of keep me coming back for more. All right. Um, and on that note, shared progress equals to sustained progress, right? I've definitely been in a situation before where I'm like, oh, like, she can do this. Like, yes, I can do that too. And seeing not only just kind of the PR, but I think from taking a big step back and looking at the full journey, can be really, really cool. And so when we celebrate those things together, again, you're building upon community, you're building upon confidence, and in the sense that, hey, I can do this too. It is possible. Women, like I said earlier, thrive in connection-based environments. So it doesn't have to be competition-based, but more on like a collaboration front. All right. So we can kind of lift each other up, emotionally, spiritually, right? Physically too, and just show up for ourselves a little bit um, more authentically. All right. And then here it's an identity shift. Being part of a group makes it easier to say, like, I'm not working out. I am a lifter. I am an athlete. For those of you who have ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear, this is absolutely my favorite thing that comes from his book, is thinking about yourself as what you want to be, not what necessarily you hope to be. So instead of I'm trying to be a lifter, therefore I'm going to go to the gym, it's no, I am a lifter and I go to the gym. So working on kind of saying what you are, and again, being able to kind of do that with a community is really helpful. All right. Emotional resilience and the fun factor, all right? Things can be more fun with friends, especially when you are doing something challenging, and that maybe you need an extra bit of support with. Things don't feel obviously so alone. And so again, building that community, that fun, that accountability, all of those things combined, can really just level up our progress and our success when we do feel like we have that connection. All right. Which leads us in, if you guys are close to the Utah area, we're having our second in-person event this Friday. So I'm not sure if Michaela wants to mention more on that, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So
We
if you,
are sold out, but
Ooh,
we're so
okay.
excited to everyone that's coming. I think we might have like 4 tickets left.
Well, you can
It's
find
gonna,
somebody who has a ticket, right? Because it was BOGO.
yeah, yeah, if they haven't given one to a friend. But if anyone really wants a ticket, then just message me and I'll see if we have any for you. So excited for everyone that's coming.
And I did want to make sure today also that we've been getting a few questions. And so there are a couple here. Oh, Michaela was just commenting.
I
Okay,
think
have
Sam
you
might,
ever,
yes, I think Sam might have had, I don't know if we have any questions or not on the form.
yeah. I mean, if anyone who's on the call wants to talk about what community has meant to them in terms of anything related to their like health or fitness journey, um, please feel free to just kind of shout it out and share. I know for me personally, like starting out in childhood, it was a lot of actually I'm gonna stop this and just kind of go to the radar screen. It was started with team sports for me. I always preferred the team sports over like the individual sports. I think a lot of that was also just kind of like pressure and the fact that it was just more fun with other people. But then I spent a long time just kind of doing my own thing, doing a lot of like solo running. And then it wasn't until several years ago when I found CrossFit that was really like my first intro to like group fitness. Um, and it's been awesome ever since. So I'm no longer kind of in person in a CrossFit gym, but having the HF community, having a coach, having a team like the Hungry Fitness team, like surrounding us, is just always kind of a special way to experience growth and progress and kind of what your goals are. Um, so if anybody wants to chime in, right, other coaches or anyone in the community on what kind of community is meant to you or how it's impacted you, feel free.
Kacey, I kind of came from the world of CrossFit too, right? Like especially competing on a team. I know Michaela can vibe with that. And it was great. Like I really loved it and I enjoyed having that accountability and that push because there's nothing like training with somebody to push you in a direction to
Mhm.
improve you. I mean, you're only good as the people you train with at a certain point, right? Um, and I loved it. But now that my training has changed and I'm in my own gym, I also find a lot of peace training by myself. It's not like I don't like training with people, but there's something to be said for me to have my time in the gym and the weight room. And I have found a level where I can push my own intensity where I need it to be. And then if there's distractions, then I don't. So I've kind of hit this like separate level of training. However, if I'm running, if I'm biking, if I'm skiing, if I'm cross country skiing, if I'm snowshoeing, there's nothing better than having a community of girls that will go that direction with me. So I still like to have that, but I also have found loving training on my own as well. So it's kind of both for me, but friends from high school, if we want to get together, time for me right now is limited. So we do it hiking, we do it skiing, we do it in
Sure,
conjunction with
instead of like going out to lunch, right? You're
right,
doing something active.
right.
Yeah.
Yoga, Pilates, whatever. Um, and that fits in my schedule better with the age that I am right now. But I've kind of done both. But it's really good to have both entities for me to enjoy both ends.
Yeah, it sounds like the more competitive you are with yourself, obviously,
Mhm,
you like to kind of be in your own zone.
mhm.
But then you balance that off with, movement in general, right? That can also be less competitive. And that sounds like what you enjoy kind of sharing with a community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, and that kind of brings up like a whole nother perspective, right? Is what you're doing, does it have to be competitive? Do you want it to be competitive? And finding kind of the right, I would say, just environment for that, right?
Yeah.
And as someone who has done kind of sports their whole life and who is not naturally competitive, right? That's me. Yeah, there's definitely kind of a time and a place for both, I think.
Yeah. It too, competitive, yes, but more like a mental drive into my training. So I find if it's too distractive, I don't get as much of a lifting session. And maybe a lot of it's more mentally because I'm not focused in on my lifting the way I want to be. So
Mm.
if I have a session where there's a lot going on, I'm like, gosh, I feel gypped in a way. But definitely the competitiveness is fun when you have somebody there on your side to work with and basically go against, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Anybody else want to chime in this week? Michaela's just saying, she feels the same way. She loves training, lifting solo, but yeah, the less competitive stuff, like whether it comes to just going through a walk, right? Can be more fun with friends.
I
Um,
went through a whole season too without doing that, without joining and meeting up and doing the less competitive training. And now that I've started to get back in it, it's so fun, so awesome. There's
mm,
nothing like it. And I'm like, how did I go so long without having that for myself? So uh,
yeah. I do both as well. I tend to like lift on my own. And then I also I love to walk, hike. I play a lot of tennis. And it's funny, that stuff is for me is gotta be with a community.
mhm.
Um, I think the lifting has just been so long, right? That I kind of want to get in, want to get out. But again, like wanting to have that belonging with sense of community, it makes it more fun. Makes the time go by quicker. And when you're doing something that can also help you with your goals with other people, again, I think that community, that sense of community just becomes a lot stronger. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, any other comments, guys? All right, I think we may make this a little bit of a shorter call this week. But I encourage everyone to kind of think about what community means to them, how you find it helpful with health and fitness journeys. If you're always, if you're looking to become more involved in this community, you know, we've got our cohorts for sure. And our subscription programming, which so many of you are already a part of. We celebrate all of the wins on the groups within the app. So don't be shy, speak up and let us kind of help celebrate alongside with you. But otherwise, we hope to see some of you at our event this Friday in Utah. Otherwise, thanks for coming today, guys.
Thanks, Kacey.